Silas. Silas, rise from...
Tonight, we look into the dark heart of the Metropolitan Transit System. For decades, the city of New York has written off the strange occurrences beneath the Bowery lines as mere urban myths, transit anomalies, or homeless folklore. But a string of classified police files leaked from the Times Square precinct points to a far more terrifying reality. For the past 40 years, a covert subterranean vigilante has been operating in the deep, closed tunnels. A man described as completely bald, bearing massive curved ram horns and wielding a volatile glowing orange energy network across his flesh. The streets call him Silas, and the forces tracking him aren't from this world.
Sighs heavily, tapping a cigarette. Look, the brass down at One Police Plaza will tell you the transit tunnels are just full of ghosts and runaway sewer gas. They're lying to protect the public from panic. It was October of '81. I was tracking a routine smuggling tip down an abandoned track bed off Bowery Street. The air instantly dropped to freezing, and my flashlight beam started cutting through this thick purple mist. That's when I saw him. He was standing over a pile of broken concrete, his bare back to me. He had these massive curved ram horns growing right out of his skull, and his entire arm was blazing with this blinding neon orange tribal pattern. I pulled my service weapon, but before I could chamber around, he turned his head and gave me this deadpan smirk. Then the tunnel exploded in a flash of orange plasma energy.
This is ground zero. 42 years ago, this decaying storefront off Times Square was a fully operational tattoo shop run by an enigmatic figure known only as the Architect. Leaked intelligence reports suggest this room wasn't designed for body art. It was a processing facility for blood. Alchemy. It was right here, in this rotting vinyl chair, where a 14-year-old Silas was bound to a chair while a warlock injected glowing neon orange supernatural ink directly into his bloodstream. When police finally raided the parlor weeks later, the warlock had vanished. All that remained was a thick layer of dust, an overwhelming scent of burnt sulfur, and a single glowing occult rune deeply scorched right into the floorboards.
I've been working the corner on 42nd and Bowery for a decade, and I know what a regular street predator looks like. Silas isn't one of them. The system calls him a monster because they can't control him. But if it wasn't for him holding the lower gates, this city would have been swallowed whole years ago. I saw him handle an active breach in an alleyway back in '81. 2 things crawled out from a frozen sewer grate. They didn't look human. They looked like armor-plated shadow knights carrying spears made of lightning. Silas just stepped out of the dark. His arm lit up like a localized lightning storm, neon orange patterns blinding the entire lane. He didn't just fight them. He overrode them on pure willpower. He protects his pack. He protects this street. And he doesn't ask for a badge to do it.
You reporters keep trying to find a political angle to this. Let me explain how the street actually functions. Silas isn't a politician, and he sure as hell isn't a ghost. He's the only wall standing between you and the guys who actually own the deed to Manhattan. The Gambino family operates on the surface, but the landlords under the tracks, they deal in blood contracts and cursed artifacts. I move cargo for them in the trunks of vintage Cadillacs. And every time a shadow courier gets greedy or a rift starts leaking volatile energy into a basement, Silas is the mechanic who cleans the engine. He doesn't punch a time card for the city, but if he stops working, the whole grid shuts down permanently.
A rogue vigilante with ram horns, leaked precinct evidence logs that are systematically erased from public archives, an invisible subterranean real estate syndicate pulling the strings of the city's underbelly. The Transit Bureau calls it folklore. The police department calls it a closed file. But as the street steam rises over another cold New York night, the evidence suggests that the true battle for Manhattan is being fought completely off the ledger, right beneath our feet. For the investigative desk, I'm Arthur Vance. Join us next week at 10 a.m. sharp as we crack open the classified dossier on Chapter 3, Land of the Occult. Until then, keep your eyes on the shadows.
The neon's flickering like a dying sun above a street where the deal was never done. No spurs on the boots, just the click of the heels in a world made of silicone and cold pressed steel. You came for the crown, I came for the dead. Both of us playing a game of Russian roulette. The server is humming, ears getting thin. Only one of us is walking out of this skin. Eyes locked in a 4K stare. Static electric, it's thick in the air. The ghost of the canyon is calling your name. But out in these streets, there's no one to blame. So put your hand on the iron, let the seconds bleed. We're down to the wire, it's the only creed. No mercy in the shadow, no place to flee. I'm gonna count it down. Draw on 3, 1. The digital silence. 2, the heavy heart. 3, let the echo rip the world apart. You thought it was hidden in the lines of the code, but justice is coming down the high-speed road. The vultures are circling the satellite dish, granting the loser their final dying wish. It's not about horses or gold in the dirt. It's about who can handle the most of the hurt. The clock's on the wall and it's ticking in red. 100 years later and the law's still dead. 10 paces of bandwidth, a lifetime of greed. The faster the finger, the faster you bleed. So put your hand on the iron, let the seconds bleed. We're down to the wire, it's the only creed. No mercy in the shadow, no place to flee. I'm gonna count it down. Draw on 3. Draw on 3. 1, 2.
Are you suffering from a decade of filter abuse? Has society forgotten your real nose? Introducing the Face Better version 4.6. We clean up the digital lies and return you to normal. Mostly, don't panic if your cheeks migrate. Don't worry if your eyes belong to a stranger. It's science. I made you better. No one will ever know it's not you. Download now. Hiding behind the pixels, smooth plastic skin, massive cartoon eyes, digital filler. But the algorithms have grown hungry, and your real face is trapped underneath. You felt the denons burning down. You've spent 10 long years hiding behind the pixels. Smooth plastic skin, massive cartoon eyes, digital filler. But the algorithms have grown hungry, and your real face is trapped underneath.
Sword bleed gone! Yeah, you think you look cool on the stage tonight, but the censor knows your talent is incredibly light. Flip 'em off, look around, aliens in the space. We don't need chords when we got a stank face.